Hey guys, welcome back. We are still working with the elbow airflare, doing cool transitions with the elbow airflare. So today, let's work on flare to elbow airflare. This is obviously very handy, you know. You want to be able to go to the elbow airflare from your flare. It's actually very easy. It's way easier to go to the elbow airflare than to the airflare or the 90. Why? Well, you don't have to lift so high, so it's not hard at all. Basically, you need a very good flare. So some people can flare just fine, but it's not really a good flare. It needs to be open-legged, clean, you know, and with ease. So let's say you can do 5 flares, but it takes everything out of you. That's not good enough. So you can still work on these combos. Nothing wrong with working at them, but you know that's not really how it works, right? You want to get those moves under control. Simply work with the flare, guys. It's not really rocket science. Now I myself don't do this. So, but then you sort of see that in the result. Now let me tell you guys the way to pick up your flare, so you can go to handstand, 90, air flare, yada yada. But in elbow air flare you don't need to be so high, so I'll tell you guys a trick how to do this later. But first let's just explain it. When you do flare, kick, 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 you're at this position where your leg is near your shoulder. As soon as you place your hand, your shoulder goes down. So the leg also goes down. So instead of keeping it near your shoulder, you need to learn how to lock it in the air. Your leg needs to stay in the air. This gives you basically the room to pick up your flare. So the way I do it is just thinking about, okay, lock your leg. But you know, if you're not familiar what to do, you actually move your leg back without thinking about it. So instead of keeping it near your shoulder, it moves backwards like this here. It moves back. And this will allow you to basically pick your flare up. So I'll just do a slow flare and check out what I do with this leg that actually stays in the air. So, right, it stays in the air. This allows me to pick my body up to do moves like elbow air flare, yada yada. So that's sort of what you want to do, and then you also want to do this exercise to help you basically understand how to lift up your flare. You go into this kind of swipe position like this, with the hip fully stretched out, nice and high. You want to lift this leg, push with the hand, fly back like that. You want to do that exercise a lot of time. So here, lift. Just work at it, right? Work on getting good flares, work on lifting like that. Basically, then you want to do the flare, keep your leg above you, like this, and then think of that lift that you just did, and mimic that. As your legs stay open on this part, you will do a clean flare without scraping. In the beginning, don't worry about scraping. If you worry about scraping all the time, you will never lift up to the handstand. First do it slow and controlled before you use all that power, right? So that's the main thing. Keep your leg up in the air and use that exercise. Then I also advise, if you can't do it, or you know that you need to keep your legs in the air, but you can't do it, simply work on press handstand. It's sort of a move you need to do anyway. So this is a half press, where I hang like that, and then you lift your legs wide like this, because you do something similar in the flare. Half press, my legs shoot wide, right? You can do this many times in a row. Down, up, down, up. You can do this 10 times in a row. Flare handstand. It will be easy for you, and obviously flare elbow flare too. So you kind of got all that concept down. You can do a flare, you keep your leg in the air and pick up. You should be able to basically lift up to higher moves like 90 in air flare. Obviously it's still a lot of work. Might want to do some tricep exercise, ab exercise, yada yada. But that's kind of the key. And then when you want to go to the elbow air flare, you don't need to be so high, but you can actually use the pushing technique. I did a tutorial on this, because the pushing technique is where you always go high enough, even if your flare is low. So I'll do it right now. Now notice that I place my hand and not my elbow. That's exactly what the pushing technique is. So I can basically always push the elbow air flare in, even if I'm low. Take a look, guys. Right, like that. So instead of placing the elbow directly, I place the hand directly so I can push the elbow in. That's not really what you want to do eventually, right? You just want to be high enough. But even if you're not high enough, using that pushing technique, you can check out the video to explain more details. You will always make it. So guys, that's actually it. So personally, elbow flare to flare. I do an elbow flare. I land in this crease right here. Flare from there, right? That's what I do, but I kind of advise you to work on chair flare technique, air chair to flare technique, because if you can do that, a lot more possibilities are there for you. Just as an example, look at B-Boy Kill, what he can do with transitions with flare. And of course, many people are like that, and it gives you more possibilities. It's kind of newbie, but I'm not focused on flare at all. I'm kind of lazy with it. But you know, as a power mover, you kind of have to. But guys, this is the main technique. Just work at it. You don't have to have a killer elbow air flare at all. You just need good flares. You can do this, but off keys, you know, if you can do 10 elbow air flares, this also becomes easier. See you next time.